Hey everybody, we are live. This is David here. Hey, welcome everybody. We're on all the platforms. Welcome, David Heavener, TV listeners. I appreciate you guys. We are in Buffalo, New York, and we're at a Christian film festival, Great Lakes Christian Film Festival, and that's because there's Christian films at this festival, and that's why we're here. But the question is why? Why do these filmmakers make these various kinds of films with the stories they have? I'm glad you asked because I have a bunch of them right here. I want you to introduce yourself. Maggie, tell everybody the name of your film and why you made it in my 10 seconds or less class here.
The name of my film is Time Alone in Fear and Sadness, and I made the film, if you're asking me why I made it, so that I could reach people who are unsaved and make them ask questions.
Make them ask questions, okay. Make them ask questions about what? About somebody died in your family, right? Somebody died and you're dealing with the death of a loved one.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's people out there that are struggling right now who have lost loved ones that need to come to some resolution, a resolve?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Is the church meeting that need, honestly?
You have lost groups, but I don't know.
Well, maybe you are their church, okay? You're a filmmaker. Name of your movie, please.
Well, I am Samantha Ryan, and my movie is Reunions in Heaven.
Oh, man, I love that. And it's going to screen tomorrow. Now, 10 seconds. What's it about, Samantha?
So we're following people's lives and their thoughts on death and how it reflects and how they live their lives with that feeling. And then when they die, they get to reunite with their family members. So we get to see what that reunion looks like.
Wow. So do you really believe that, does the Bible teach that when we die, we're actually going to meet our family members here on earth who have passed on? And we're going to know who they are and hang out with them?
I do believe that, yes.
Okay. And because that's what your show is about. And what is, now we talked about with Maggie, death, losing.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about you losing a loss. It seems like there's lately a lot of people losing a lot of people lately.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hurt there.
There's pain.
There's pain. What do you hope in this particular film you're doing will do for people?
I hope it will inspire people to ask questions about life after death and get them curious about the Lord and looking forward to that reunion in heaven one day.
Yeah, amen. But don't go anywhere because I need to ask you guys another question here. We got here Melissa. Melissa,
hi.
Now, you're a filmmaker or just an actress?
I'm an actress, soon to be filmmaker.
Soon to be filmmaker.
Yes.
And what did you act in?
And Reunions in Heaven.
Okay. Were you one of the people that died?
Yes, I get dead a lot in movies. They like to kill me.
Are you a Christian zombie? Is that what you're Christian zombie? So what did you, let me ask you this question. Have you experienced losing a loved one?
I have. I've experienced a lot of that lately. Or just a lot
of it lately. I screened Last Evangelist yesterday. You were there at the screening. What did you think about it?
I thought it was amazing. I think a lot more Christian movies need to have a lot more action and just relatable content.
Yeah. We just need to be real, don't we?
Yes.
We need to be
Cut
real.
the cheese out and have real life.
I like that. Hold the cheese.
Yep.
Wow. Samantha, let me get you over here. You saw Last Evangelist yesterday. What? You have a comment? What did you think about it?
I think it's important that we look towards the future. And like Melissa said, Christian movies have been relatively cheesy, and The Last Evangelist is not. It's something that could potentially be very real, and I think it's important that we think about that.
Mm-hmm. The prophecy, what happens, what the Bible talks about. Mm-hmm. Are we in these last days, you think?
I can see some things leading towards that.
Yeah. Are we going to be raptured out of here, you think?
I hope not. I have 2 little kids that I want to see grow up.
Well, wait a minute. They're going to go with you. If it's raptured, you'll see them grow up in heaven.
Well,
right? like your movie says.
That's very true. But to see them graduate and get married, that would be ideal. But if it doesn't turn out that way, that's just how it's meant to be.
Lord,
So-
don't come back yet, because Samantha wants to raise her kids. Just let us keep suffering, because she needs to raise.
Hey, now, if he does come back, he better slap some people straight, is what I'm saying.
Okay, Maggie, you saw Last Evangelist. Do you have anything, comments on?
Yeah, I really enjoyed how thought-provoking the film was, how it touched on things in the end times, and I noticed some of my studies from Revelation were applicable in the film, and I can't wait to see how the next few episodes go, showing us how we got there.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. People say it's action, but I've never fired a gun in it. One guy did get killed, but action doesn't have to be what do you call it, grotesque or in your face or
physical.
Exploitive. And then here's the last thing I want to ask you guys, because guys, girls actually, they're in these Christian movies that are quote Christian made. They say they're Christians. A lot of them, I have a hard time relating to some of them because it's not real. Like, you know, somebody gets saved in the first 10 minutes and they pray the sinner's prayer and stuff like that. And I don't want to knock on it. What I want to do is try to figure out why they make it the way they do and how it can be different to touch people's lives. Okay. Let me start with you, Samantha. What is it as a filmmaker do you think we need to do as Christian filmmakers to really affect people?
I think we need to be real. Christians are not these perfect beings at all. I know I've made a slew of mistakes, and many of them I showcase in my films. And I think we need to show the real. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. It's okay to show the mistakes in films and how you rise above it.
Right, because in the Bible, there's the Antichrist, right? I mean, you have the evil. If you don't have evil, how can you have good? Good contrast evil, right? And that's the problem, I think, with a lot of these films. They just want to show all the goody, and then people, speaking of evil, come over here, I want to talk to you, Melissa. Not that you're evil. But you said that you're one of the first ones that said, hey, I think we really need to show, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the dark side too of some of these films, right?
Well, I think that the Christian community oftentimes wants to target the Christian community. And isn't it our job as Christians to go out and help those that are not Christians to be saved? So we're targeting the wrong audience. That's my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. Because the audience we need to target, well, there's two. Correct me if I'm wrong, you all, is we need to educate people who are Christians to give more information, right? But then people that aren't Christians, that don't know God, they need to somehow be able to connect with God in something that we do in our show, right? So, yeah, Maggie, so I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask a very sensitive question, all right? Because it needs to be asked. In your film, you did a bathtub scene.
Yes.
All right. I saw your naked shoulders.
Yes.
Right. Now, you could have, as a Christian, said, I'm not going to do that scene because I want to stay away from it. I don't want anybody. But you chose to do it, and it was effective to me. By the way, it's done classy, folks. Don't run out and try to watch. No. But that's what I want to bring into it. Yeah. You can show implied and life, because that's life. She's in the bathtub. She's in pain, broken, you know, and it was very well done. What do you say to Christians that are making a movie and they've got a scene that's kind of like that? I don't know. It could be that. It could be something else. You know, maybe it's a love scene, a kissing scene or something. How do you handle that?
What is the intention of your scene? Is it critical to the story? Does it evoke an emotion? Does it bring something to the film? And if it isn't biblical and it doesn't do any of those things, does it really need to be there? But you can do it. So my film was showing the brokenness of this woman and how she was trying to reconcile some changes and some things that had happened in her life, and you saw her at her utmost bared down state.
Right.
And
It's
most vulnerable.
it's vulnerable, isn't it?
Mhm.
That
There's
a lot of time you
vulnerability.
see things like that because it shows our vulnerability, right? What say you, Samantha? How do you handle scenes like that, or would you even put a scene like that? Let's say a kissing love scene in one of your movies that you're trying to get something across.
Yeah, I know. I would completely agree with Maggie. 100% copy paste.
Copy.
Copy paste.
You should.
I
You
say
should be.
that on
You should be a
set all the
politician.
time.
You should be a politician. No,
I think there's also something to be said for how do you film it, David?
yeah.
Because this was a really sensitive thing to film. I had to control that environment. I had someone on set that was an intimacy coordinator. We controlled who was in the room, who was on the floor, and who was present and able to see what was going on in that
Right.
room.
Yeah.
Those are all really important things to be able to control as a Christian while you're filming.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And I'm going to give you guys some keys here, because I've shot scenes like that go a lot further than that when I was making my R-rated stuff. But I always told a girl or a guy, whatever, look, if I'm only up to here on you, I want you to wear a bikini and just, you never, ever want to have anybody compromise if you don't have to, because you're just shooting a scene to get a story across, and that's it. So a lot of scenes that you see that you think things are going on, they're not really going on under the covers. It's a whole, people think, oh, they're really, no, I don't care what people say. You're working hard, man. The last thing in your mind is sex, you know what I'm saying? Or that type thing. And so just to let you guys know, you don't have to, if you're making a movie, you do not have to, you can always just go to the point where you go, I've told my story. That's as far as I need to go. I don't need to do anything else. Melissa, I'll give you the last word. I think you're like probably an expert at something like this, but
What the heck is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I just got you wanted to play the Antichrist, so I figured you'd come up with something brilliant.
As far as love scenes in movies, I did have a couple. It did not go any further than kissing, and I'm even struggling with that as I'm growing more spiritually. I'm starting to realize how that can even interfere with your personal life. So I just think you need to realize what your boundaries are and what are you actually willing to do or not do.
That's a really good point. We could do a whole show on this, but I'm going to run out of time battery. We could do a whole show on this, because here's the thing about it. What you talked about, a kissing scene, just a kissing scene, right? You're portraying life, so you have a husband and wife.
Yep.
Well, do they ever kiss?
They do.
Unless they've been married for 30 years, maybe. But they do, don't they? Yes. They do. Yeah. But what if you're married, Maggie, and you've got a real husband, but you're playing in a movie where you have a husband in the movie and you've got to kiss that husband? I mean, many Christians would say, Maggie, you shouldn't do that. But then they're hypocritical because they're watching movies where they're watching people kissing.
Very strong opinions.
You do?
I do.
I want to do a show on that.
On
I really do. Just give me a little nugget, and then I'm going to do a separate show on this, because I think we need to dissect
Your intention is everything. And if your intention is as an actress to portray a character, and you've discussed these things with your spouse, that is what matters. God knows what you're doing. God knows what's in your heart. Other people don't.
Yeah, you're portraying life.
You're portraying life. You're not portraying yourself. These are controlled sets. Mm-hmm. You are not alone with this person. You should have and strongly should have discussed these scenes with your spouse and prayed on it.
And pray on it. What say you, Samantha?
I completely agree. I think it's between you and your spouse, the boundaries that you set for yourself,
right? And
then the boundary that the other actor sets, and the boundaries are discussed with your spouse, the other actor, and an intimacy coordinator. I cannot talk up intimacy coordinators enough. They are extremely important to have on set.
Yeah, just so you guys know, intimacy coordinator is like a stunt coordinator. If I'm doing stunts, I have a guy that oversees the stunts, make sure nobody gets hurt. What they're talking about is a kissing coordinator that makes sure nobody's tongue gets injured in the in the thing.
These scenes are so choreographed.
They're so choreographed. Okay, and again, I'm giving you the last word. Okay. I need some wisdom on this.
Which part? Well, like I said earlier, I mean, you got to determine You know, what's the boundaries for you?
What's your boundaries, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
for me, like my boundaries are changing as I'm growing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to determine, you know,
What they are?
Yeah. What am I going to do or not do? And like they said,
Yeah.
whatever what you're comfortable with your spouse should be what matters. Because like you said, people are watching it. You're portraying real life, you're acting. And I mean, there's nothing romantic when you are in front of a camera and like 40 people and you're trying to kiss somebody. There's nothing romantic about it.
No.
Yeah. And yeah, you know, okay, so here's what I do. I because I've done so many movies, I just forget to talk about my wife. But to my wife about it, it's like she'd get bored after a while. Like, I don't want to. But you know what I do? I get me a clove of garlic.
Oh
Yeah.
And I chew on. No, I'm serious.
He
I
Jennifer
do.
Lawrence is it?
I do. I chew on a clove of garlic. I always say God and garlic. They are both offensive to people. God and garlic. But I know it is. No, it's true. But I do it. And I can tell that when I do that scene, that the girl is so interested in getting away from me very quickly, right?
Yeah.
I have done that, and it really helps. So just
Can I just say one more thing?
one more thing, yeah.
We need to be respectful of what people choose to do with their lives in filmmaking. And if one person does not agree with another person doing a kissing scene,
Yeah.
you can choose to not do that for yourself, but you need to not be judging others for making those decisions
Thank
with
you.
prayer.
Yes.
to God.
Oh, very good. I got an amen from the section back here, from the Antichrist section back here. Listen, now, you know, and on the other hand, I'll say one more thing. Like I said, we can go on and on, but I will say another thing is that to note and tag on what you're saying, that if someone has a problem being intimate in a movie, no matter what level it is,
Don't force it.
well, they need to tell the director and producer up front. Do not let them hire you. And then all of a sudden you go to the director and say, I'm sorry, I can't. You read it in the script.
Right.
You knew it. And then you want to call yourself a Christian because you wanted the part. Now you suckered people. And that's a wrong thing to do. You read the script. And if you agree to it, then you got to live with it. You can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, let me tell you. Yeah.
In the audition,
In the-
before they cast you, you can
Now,
talk
in
about it.
fairness, that they should not change the script on you because that's been done to me.
No, you cannot let them do that.
That has been done to me.
Yeah, I did a film one time. This is many years ago. I did a horror film, and it's back when they called it the exploitation movies, where you made these horror films, you know. And at that time, you know, my name was known, so they put me on a DVD cover. Well, the girl I was starring with, she was known too, and she was a good actress, but she was also known for like taking her clothes off in love scenes. So I went to the director, and they were over budget. I knew they were over budget because I make movies, right? And I said, look, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give up half my salary if you'll get rid of this love scene, you know, in there. Well, they talked to that, came back to me the next day and they said, are you serious? I said, yeah. They said, okay. So I gave up half my salary and didn't have to do it. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Win-win.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about a win-win. I lost money on that one, but the thing is, I didn't really want to do it, but I signed on and I felt bad afterwards, but I knew I was going to have to because I committed to it. It was my word. But then I prayed, I said, God, help me get out of this thing. Like, what can I do? And then all of a sudden I saw they were freaking out over even craft services and stuff. I said, they need money. I said, well, what if I give up? Because they were paying me pretty good. Yeah. And they did it, and it worked out good for everybody. Happy. Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, by the way, I had garlic this morning. I'm not offending you guys. Okay. All right. Hey, thank you so much. It's been great spending time with you all. I appreciate it. God bless you guys. All right. Love you. Bye-bye.